I want you to think back to when a game truly changed you. Maybe you got to the end of the game and something and you switched. You think about your life, the people you interact with, the choices you've made, and all of a sudden you have a different perspective. It could be a game with a brutal story that makes you realize how much you take your loved ones for granted. It could be a game where there is no story except the one that you make. The game could be horrible or have no meaning to it, but maybe it got your mind off of something that was hard to deal with. I appreciate any type of game that tries to reach out to me, especially ones that subtly describe exactly how I'm feeling. I want to talk about a particular game that did this, and it's not even out yet. The game is called First Break. It was made in a game jam where participants had 2 weeks to make a game completely from scratch. The game is described as a, quote, puzzle/bullet hell hybrid about surviving a strange prison filled with traps. The gameplay is very simple. You have WASD and the left and right mouse button. The goal is to get a key in each level and warp to the next one. However, you'll have to get past these diamond-shaped objects. If you touch them or the trails that they leave behind, you die instantly. Each object does something different. Some don't move at all, and some explode and cover the entire screen in death trails. You can shoot rocks at them with your slingshot to move them to different places, or to stop them from barreling towards you, and that's it. It's that simple. What makes the game special to me is just how dark it feels. You're told to not move while being guarded by 4 creatures, who each look the same, but have a different expression of emotion. Put your hand in the bag, they say, and out you pull a slingshot. You're not gonna last long there. Now jump. You jump into the deep abyss, and find yourself in a prison chock full of these things that will kill you the second you touch them. You don't understand anything about your environment, and less of how you got there. Throughout the levels, you'll find other people who have suffered the same fate as you, being locked into this endless void. The first prisoner says, "Oh, you're trapped here too? I'm just so tired. I can't remember when they threw me in this. I'm not really hungry or thirsty. I just want it to stop." I'm still unsure what the prisoner is talking about when they say, "I just want it to stop." Maybe it's the prison, the near-death encounters with these objects, or the gross, murky substance that surrounds the prison. Continuing through the levels, you find a second prisoner. They say, "It's endless, right? I've been trying to make a map, in my head, but everything seems to shift. I'm getting used to being killed every few hours, but I just don't know what to do." This tells you that the prison itself is shifting and changing, and everyone who exists here dies but comes back. Continuing again through the prison, you find a third prisoner. "Oh, you made it this far? Good job, I guess. I think I'll stay here for a while. There's one of them here, a warden. It makes sure we're not escaping, as if we could leave this place." If the prison wasn't already hard to escape, now you'll have to fight an entity that is trying to stop you. You keep fighting, and you find a fourth prisoner. What was in the bag? A sling? At least that's useful. I got a guitar. Even though the fourth prisoner didn't have much to say, it makes you ask more questions about what you're being imprisoned by. So every person that is trapped here is asked to put their hand in the bag, and they get something different each time. Nobody except you and that prisoner had an item, so it's reasonable to assume that the other prisoners either got nothing, lost their item, or they hid it in case other prisoners tried to steal it. Later on, you get to another small room, expecting to see another prisoner. But there's nobody there. You've made it further than anyone else has. You find yourself in a room, opposing a tall creature, much bigger than the guards in the beginning, who you could only assume is the warden that the third prisoner was warning you about. It tells you, you shouldn't have made it this far. Now die. It's a pretty simple boss fight. When you beat the warden, it speaks how before it disintegrates into nothing. A door opens up, and when you warp through it, this happens. It's completely dark. You walk a few steps as you try to make sense of the space you're in. Your eyes slowly adapt to the darkness, and you start seeing faint lights and shapes miles away. It's still the prison. You're still trapped. It's endless. Where should you go? It's hard to describe how this game made me feel when I first played it. It's an unfinished game that left me on a cliffhanger. It's a short playthrough, only about 20 minutes, which is quite a lot considering this was made in only 2 weeks. The game has an impressive amount of polish to it in such a short time frame, and it manages to be one of the simplest games I've ever played that I haven't stopped thinking about. And not to mention, the soundtrack is a fucking banger. I love listening to the soundtrack. This game also has so many different meanings to it. The simplest one that I can give is that it describes exactly how depression feels. An infinite prison in which you discourage yourself from believing you could ever escape. Negative thoughts chase you, and the best thing for you to do is to get as far away from them as possible. There are many people that are trapped like you, people who are tired, people who try to escape, people who avoid the conflict because it feels safer, people who forsake the cards they were dealt. The only path to escaping the prison is just to find a way. Each level is filled with danger that you have to overcome. Sometimes you have to face it directly. You're not alone, but you don't feel accompanied either. Even though you may have conquered your greatest fear, there may just be more of the boundless darkness for you to get past. Sometimes it looks so impossible to get out. But there is a way. There always is. A detail I didn't notice until being almost finished with this video was that all of the creatures that were guarding us from escaping spoke very specifically. They spoke as if what they said was law, and that escape was impossible. They were talking with black and white thinking, which is one of the main symptoms in many psychological disorders, especially depression. It's the inability to think that there is a way out, even though there is. When you think in black and white, it's all or nothing, always or never, perfection or failure. I think the creatures in the game are symbolic of that type of thinking. As a matter of fact, they are all black and white. They only tell you that you can't, that you won't last long in the prison, that you should never have made it as far as you did. It took me a bit to notice this too, but the guards in the beginning don't have different expressions, they're wearing masks with different expressions. This can represent the idea that no matter what emotion we may be feeling, that there are dark, static thoughts behind each one of them that imprison us, and it makes us feel hopeless. I think that's a really nice touch to this game. There are many other meanings and lessons this game has in its short and simple playtime. The point of this video is that anything, no matter how big or small, simple or complex something is, it's good enough if it means something to somebody. This game meant a lot to me. First Break is still being developed after it placed 3rd in Pirate Software's 14th Game Jam. I hope that the story and gameplay continue to be fleshed out because I can't wait to go over this game when it fully comes out. It's currently on Steam, you can go wishlist it, I put a link in the description. I'll also put a link to the itch.io page where you can play it. Pirate Software has also announced a 15th Game Jam, and I tried my best in the 14th one, but the best I got was just some pixel art hair, and it honestly I don't even think looks that good. If you want to see me participate in that Game Jam, please just let me know. Otherwise, leave a comment on what you want to see on this channel. I'm not really sure where I want to take this channel, what direction I want to take it in, if I want to keep making videos like these where it's just appreciating games that I've played, or maybe even movies that I've watched. But that's about it. Thank you for watching.